Yeah, we ready. We live, man. We up. It's up. What's up, man? We back as we predicted. Stephen A. Smith address is getting checked by LeBron James. We're here for it. This is what we've been waiting for since yesterday. Um, Another amazing day. I'm in high spirits again, man. Getting some content up for you guys, for myself. Let's see what this guy got to say, man. Let's hear him explain himself.
Welcome into First Take on this Feel Good Friday. Thank you for being with us. Obviously, Stephen A., an incredible game last night in LA. You were in the building, and we'll get to what that means for the Lakers and Knicks in just a moment. But, S.A., there was a moment in the game that we want to address.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he.
Yeah, I bet you can't repeat that. LeBron James, the final boss. Check the shit out of you, dude. I'm happy about it. He looks lost for words. I'm pretty sure he finna talk tough now, but this is a changing of the guard, man. That this new media, that shit over with. Let's finish hearing what he got to say.
Suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable, and that is why I have to discuss it now. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard.
No. He heard, nigga, the comments that you said. Ain't no comments he heard or he thought he heard or he heard it wrong. No, we heard you on your show on what was it? What's your show? The Stephen A. Smith show, I think that's what it's called on YouTube. And we heard you on here, First Take, talking crap about the man's son. Come on.
He clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to.
Yeah, he got in contact with you, face to face, man to man. When he said, I ain't gonna call you. What I'm gonna call you for to tell you some shit. I'll catch you when I see you. And that's exactly what he did.
He never called. Because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him.
Nah. See? He saw you when he saw you. You know you was talking crap about this guy. You tried to show up to the game like it was all sweet, like you could say whatever you want. I'm gonna be at the games and you could come see me. This was his whole stick. Mr. Otto Hyde. What happened to that? What happened to anybody can see you at courtside? What happened to, oh, we glad you aren't a journalist no more and not in the locker rooms no more. Sorry, I got to sneeze. What happened to all of that? All that talk? Where that went? Now it's, oh, you could have did this privately. Cop and please,
Had a
man.
conversation man to man, but that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was
See,
sitting.
now it's different. See how you trying to play the victim like a little girl? Noodle shoulder ass boy. You can't play victim in this situation, man. You're a grown man and you got confronted by another grown man. Fuck all that. Oh, he could have talked to me, or oh, we could have did this and that. He did talk to you. Right in your motherfucking face, live and direct, like you've been asking for. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it, nigga. Live and direct. Fuck all that call you through this third party and oh man, hey, live and direct, nigga. When I see you, it's up.
Courtside, Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game, and he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say, and apparently,
Yeah, say what he said, man. Fuck all of that. We want to know what he said to you and what you said back. That's what we want to know.
he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, nigga. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting. But if we had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all-stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him.
Now, do we root against Bronny James? Were we rooting against him? No, we weren't rooting against him. Did we want him to show us that he was an NBA player? Yes. Did he show us that he was an NBA player? No. Has he shown us that he's an NBA player? No. The nigga's still trash. He's still getting DMPs. He hit a few shots in garbage time, and everybody go crazy. He's doing better in the G League. I give him that. But if he's gonna be a superstar, no, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't wish him not to become. It ain't up to me if he becomes one or not. You know what I'm saying? We just giving our opinion. You was talking about his parenting. How you was talking about a lot of stuff. We might do a video and go back to what you said about his son, just so we could get like a clear understanding of why he was angry with you. Maybe that's what you should be doing instead of talking tough now. You see, he not yelling though. He got that. That boy ain't got no energy. That boy drank the life out that boy. Scared that boy shitless. Come on, man.
He was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And so we had to talk about it. And when I said the things that I said, I wasn't talking about Bronny James because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time.
No. Fuck that. That is not what you said. Hold up. Fuck that. Cause we not finna listen to you say what you think you said. Fuck that. Fuck all of that. Okay.
Together, he'll be just fine, especially with J.J. Redick and the staff coaching him. I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad, because LeBron James has been on the record, and he has said, and I'll read the quote here. There was
Look, now he want to read quotes. Why you ain't read your quotes from what you said? You read another nigga quotes. Come on.
that he gave in February of 2024. The work and results will ultimately do talking, no matter what the size. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works.
So you could quote LeBron James, but you can't quote yourself. Come on.
Earned, not given, etc., etc. But he also had said that his son could play on the Lakers right now, and he was better than half the dudes in the NBA. In the aftermath of all of that, he instructed everybody before the draft that y'all want me, draft Bronny. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be. I'll do whatever it takes to play with my son for a year. It's not about the money at that point. My point months ago was that because of who you are, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation, there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that for his son. And when he talked like that, and what have you, anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James because of his dad. And that's when I was talking about, come on, man, this is the situation that you're putting him in. That's where I was.
He's in that situation already. He's already LeBron James' son. LeBron James saying that, oh, he gonna be this, that, and the third. What's the nigga supposed to say? Y'all could parent how y'all want to parent, but I know if my son got a chance to, LeVar Ball did it. LeVar Ball was saying how his son was the best nigga ever and shit. And y'all really don't even talk about LeVar no more. But LeBron James was doing like the same shit that LeVar Ball did. And when Bronny went out there and looked like he couldn't play, everybody got on him about it. You just ain't expect him to check your ass at the game. Come on.
Was coming from. I could be a bit more outspoken about it, but to be quite honest with you, to be in that moment, to have LeBron look at me the way that he did, for me to be a father of 2 daughters, for me to know what fathers, how much love fathers have for their children, and to hear what he had to say, it was all about his son. It was almost as if he was saying, you know, you and I, because he and I don't necessarily vibe, it's high and by, we keep it moving. Neither of us lose sleep over it, and it's been that way for years. But it was like he was saying, keep that between me and you. Almost as if he was thinking that anything that I said about Bronny was a result of him. And in that situation, again, I wasn't talking about Bronny. I was really talking about him because of the position that Bronny was in. But I really understood where he was coming from. He was very, very upset. I could tell. He could have called me. I'd have came to see him. I'd have had a conversation with him. He could have been just as upset face-to-face, man-to-man, as opposed to being courtside at the game. I had no idea that everybody saw it until I woke up this morning. But it is what it is. In the end, like I said, you know, I as a father, I get it. I'm not offended. I'm not insulted. I don't have any animosity or animus towards LeBron James for this.
Yeah, I know
I
you
don't think
don't.
he cares, but neither do I.
I know
I'm
you
just stating
don't.
fact. None of that exists. If I was in his position, I can't definitively say I would not have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming him one bit. I get it. I understand it. And there's a part of me that aches and hurts because of it. But unlike a whole bunch of people with their podcast and beyond that talk about the NBA,
You got a podcast. You got a podcast.
I covered the NBA. And it's my job to talk about the subjects and the subject matters that matter. I work for ESPN. I'm here. We have the #1 morning show for the last 13 years and counting. God has blessed us with that. There's a lot that's going on, and there's a lot of stories that are there to be told. And I just feel it's necessary to remind people, Molly, I was raised as a journalist. Let's be very, very clear about what that means. I'm not one of those that get into people's private affairs. But what you do on a public platform for public consumption, that's what I cover. That's what I do for a living. And if you're in the NBA, that applies to you. I don't want enemies. I live a very good life. I like to make people laugh and smile and have a good time and all of that other stuff. But I also get paid to call it like I see it. And what I said at the time, I stand by what I said. It wasn't even any reporting. The facts were out there. And what I was saying about LeBron is fact-based because of what he said and the things that he said leading up to his son getting drafted and ultimately being in the NBA on the same team as him, as opposed to being a Boston Celtic or a Golden State Warrior. There is no way around that. And when you are born and raised as a journalist, not born and raised, but when you're raised as a journalist professionally, you don't want enemies, but you ain't paid to make friends. You got to call it like you see it. And that's what I did. So again, in closing, I just want to say, I'm not upset. I don't care. I wish that it wasn't in that kind of atmosphere. I wish it was in a private setting.
Yep.
I don't blame LeBron James for being upset. I don't blame him for being angry. I don't blame him for wanting to confront me because that wasn't a superstar basketball player that confronted me. He played like one again last night, which just reminds you of his focus and his greatness.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a basketball player that approached me last night.
Let's get
That was a
into
daddy.
what happened
I
on the court.
understand.
And Stephen A., I appreciate you putting yourself in his shoes, and I'm glad that LeBron got to address what's on.
Coppin, please. Coppin, please. We don't want to hear it. Sorry, dude. Let's hear what he said. Okay. Now y'all heard that. Now let's hear what he really said.
Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Now let's go to Philadelphia, where Bronny James last night played his most minutes by far in an NBA game last night as the Lakers lost to the 76ers 118-104. Bronny was held scoreless in 15 minutes and struggled guarding Sixers star Tyrese Maxey. Before I get to my thoughts, please take a listen to Coach J.J. Redick and what he had to say about Bronny's performance last night. Take a listen.
Maybe put him in a tough spot, flying up yesterday and, nationally televised game and Philly and all that stuff. It's, he didn't play well, but he's been playing great, in the Stay Ready games, and he's been playing great in the G.
I was on First Take, my day job on ESPN earlier this morning, and I spoke about this, and I felt the need to elaborate even further because a couple of people text me and pissed me off, and they know who they are.
uh,
People close to LeBron James talking to me about questioning him as a father. Come on, y'all. I mean, it's gotten to a point where this LeBron sensitivity is just beyond the pale. You call him the second best player in the history of the game, you're insulting him because you said he's not the GOAT. You're saying that at age 40, we've never seen anybody do what he does, but pointing out at times how he may not have hustled back on defense in a key pivotal moment, and that's a problem. You give him all the praise in the world when he drops 40, but he has a bad night, and you say he had a bad night, and you're hating. It's ridiculous. But never before has it been more ridiculous than it is right now, because the reality is that we got to be real about what we're seeing when we talk about Bronny James. I am not a person that had a problem with Bronny James being on the court for the season opener with LeBron James. That was a phenomenal moment to see a father on the court with his son who has NBA aspirations playing together for the first time in NBA history. The Griffeys in baseball, Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. were in attendance for it. It was a special moment. My position has always been that should have been the only moment we saw Bronny James in a Lakers uniform this season, because he's not ready. I'm not here to tell you that he won't be ready. I'm not here to tell you that he won't be an NBA player. I'm not here to tell you that he should give up his dreams and his aspirations. I think the kid's got potential. I think the kid will be in the NBA one day. I watched him in the G League doing this thing. I think he's going to be fine eventually.
okay. Okay. This is great.
But that's not the case yet.
He kept it real. He's keeping it real.
And because it's not the case yet, and then you see some of these numbers, I do find myself looking at LeBron James instead of Bronny James, because LeBron is the basketball savant. LeBron is one of the top two greatest players in the history of the game. LeBron has forgotten more basketball than most people would know. So no matter what we think about Bronny, he knows more. But you see what you see. Bronny James has played in 13 NBA games. Ladies and gentlemen, he's averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. He shot 1 for 16 from the field in his NBA career and 0 for 7 from three-point range. And he's playing in the first quarter of an NBA game? Really? And everybody wants to look at it, and LeBron has nothing to do with that. He didn't tell J.J. Redick to put him in the game. I get all that. But come on. I'm not being cruel to Bronny. I'm looking out. Do you want it this way, LeBron? Do you want it this way, Rich Paul? Do you want it this way? He can't go into the G League and average 20, 25, and stay there until he's ready? Because he's LeBron's son, you know how they're going to judge him. And before anybody wants to jump on me, remember, I never saw Bronny James play until he showed up in the NBA and the G League. I refused to watch him because if I watched him, I would have to talk about him, and I didn't want to talk about LeBron James' son because I thought it was so unfair to the kid. He's such a wonderful kid, wonderful family. I don't want to hear me talking about questioning LeBron James' fatherhood. How many times do I have to rave about LeBron James? On ESPN, I put up a ticker. Great father, great husband, great philanthropist, great businessman, great actor, great producer, great director. Great, 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 great. How many times have I said that? I'm simply saying, yo, he's not ready yet. And to put him out there, getting him exposed to that is really hard to watch. When Kobe Bryant was a rookie and shot those air balls in that closeout playoff game against the Utah Jazz, people would talk about he wasn't ready for the moment. And I thought it was unconscionable what Coach Del Harris at the time did to him by throwing him to the wolves, because he got frustrated because Kobe kept talking about how he's going to end up being the greatest ever because he was chasing Jordan and they got tired of hearing his mouth and his bravado. And he threw him to the wolves very unfairly, which I think is something that ultimately ruined Del Harris because he shouldn't have done that. But nobody questioned whether or not Kobe Bryant belonged in the NBA. Nobody questioned that. With Bronny James, they're questioning it. Because there's no collegiate career to speak of because he had the health issue and never really did anything at USC in his only year there. And he ends up getting drafted 55th overall. And I don't care about the money that he's going to end up making. Like, he'll end up making over a span of a couple of years, $8 million, while the other 55th pick from the year before that probably made about $800,000. The hell with that. LeBron James is underpaid. LeBron James is underpaid. He should get paid much more than he's getting paid. And any money that he could get for his son, he could get for Rich Paul, he could get for anybody, he should get, because he is underpaid with what he means to the NBA. I don't care about the money. I care about what the kid is being exposed to. With LeBron James' mystique hovering over him. 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, 0.4 rebounds. 1 for 16 shooting overall, 0 for 7 from three-point range, 13 games. There are millions of kids out there starving to play in an NBA game that are more qualified than his stats show. And what I'm saying is, if you see a son being exposed to things they may not be ready for, when do you wrap your arms around them and say, all right, now's not the time? I used a boxing analogy on First Take earlier today. And I used Marvis Frazier, the son of Joe Frazier. Go back and look at the highlights. He went into the ring against heavyweight champion Larry Holmes, who had one of the best jabs and one of the best right hands in boxing history. And I remember Larry Holmes being interviewed and saying, ain't no kid with 10 damn fights beating me. That's what he said. And then went in there and beat him in the first round. Remember, he dropped him. And then remember, Frazier gets up. And if you remember the fight, ladies and gentlemen, Larry hit him with a right and waved the referee on. Hit him with a right and waved the referee to come and stop the fight. Hit him again, waved the referee to stop the fight. Because he knew the kid didn't belong in the ring with him. And you know who took the hits for that? Joe Frazier, former heavyweight champion of the world, one of the great fighters in history, had no business putting his son at that early stage in the squared circle with Larry Holmes. Look it up. That's all I'm saying. With LeBron, the best of intentions. Wonderful father by all accounts. I'm not casting any aspersions on him. I'm saying, that's your son, bro. You know the game of basketball. He ain't ready yet. Why put him in that position? You had your moment being on the court with him. Now that kid's got to go earn his stripes, which I believe he will do.
Okay, so he kept it real, but he didn't keep it real in his face. He's talking about a whole bunch of blibber blabber. I don't really know what he's talking about, but he did not say that LeBron James' son was trash. He did question him as a father. A lot of filler when he talks. You know what I'm saying? You see how long it took him to give that analogy? Like, it's just a whole bunch of Nothing. Just a whole bunch of dates, times, just a mouthful. A mouthful for a bunch of nothing. He got in your face. You could have said what you had to say. He said what he had to say. And you sat your motherfucking ass down and said, oh, okay, okay. And then you got on your show and got more pleas, man. Stop talking about these NBA players. They finna start running up on y'all. I'm with it. Shout out LeBron James. I love you, mama. We out of here.